Hello, everybody. Today, I have the privilege of having with us a civil rights activist, Deputy Director of Political Engagement under the Obama administration, Senator Kamala Harris, State Director, Joe Biden's presidential campaign senior advisor, the granddaughter of labor leader Cesar Chavez, and the daughter of UFW's President Emeritus Arturo Rodriguez, and someone that I can be honored to call my friend, Julie Rodriguez.
Hi, Teresa. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for being here with us, Julie. You know that this is a very important election, and we have 5 days to election day. What can you tell our community to make sure that they vote? What can we share with them that is at risk if they don't vote?
Well, thank you, Teresa, so much for having me today, but more importantly, for your leadership and for all of the work that the United Farm Workers is doing to ensure that, we don't have 4 more years of Donald Trump. I think that, all of us can agree that the last 4 years have been sowed with a lot of hate and chaos and division that Donald Trump has, really incited and perpetuated. And these are things that, have really impacted our community and traumatized our community. When you look at the horrific immigration policies that have come out of his administration, the raids that have, sort of come upon our communities, I think back to, the story of the farm worker and the farm worker family in Delano, California, that was killed in a car accident early one morning as they were going to work, as a result of ICE, trying to arrest them. That is not the kind of terror that, in my mind, reflects who we are as a country. And so I think that's what's at stake this election. When we talk about also COVID, we've seen how hard COVID has hit the Latino community and the farm worker community in particular. We know that farm workers have been deemed essential by our government. We've known that all of our lives. We have known farm workers are essential to putting food on our table and to ensuring that the rest of the world is fed. But we know during these times that now the world does see and our country does see how essential farm workers are. And so it's also about, fighting for their protections and fighting for a pathway to citizenship for our farm workers and for our undocumented community. Joe Biden has committed to, on day one, put a immigration reform bill to send it to Congress and to work with Congress to get it passed for a permanent solution. And, there's so many issues: education, healthcare. When we think about the future of our economy and our Latino-owned businesses, there's so much at stake this election, and so we just are excited and encouraged to, get everyone out to vote and to make a plan to vote. That's the most important thing: is make a plan to vote.
And you're so right, Julie. This administration has deemed us as rapists, killers, drug dealers. But when it comes to really essential workers, most of our workforce in agriculture, the farm workers, are immigrants, and most of them are undocumented. We know that in order to make a difference, we need to engage young people. What has the campaign been doing to engage them, and not only young people, but the Latinos y Latinas that are have never voted, but they have the opportunity this time to make a difference? What has been your message?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, so one, it's important to know that about 15 to 20% of our voting population, of the Latino voting population this cycle, will be first-time voters. Every single year, there are 1 million Latinos that turn 18 and are eligible to vote. For like the next 20 years, that'll be true. So we know our voting power is growing, and like you said, the Latino youth vote is so important. So we've been reaching out and engaging in a variety of ways, both through our digital programming and kind of online efforts, through getting celebrities out there and people that are influencers that they know, partnering with outfits like Pero Like on, BuzzFeed, and Kamala just did a Cooking with Curly show that folks can check out, I think, where they made pupusas. She did an Instagram live with Becky G, and really connecting with all of her followers. So we're just trying to find ways of being able to meet, Latino voters and young Latino voters where they are. We know that they have such a huge digital presence. So we've also been doing a ton of digital, ads and media and outreach to them. Enlisting artists like Bad Bunny. We used a song of his, a breakup song of his, to do one run of our ads to say and remind the community that now is the time to break up with Trump. Rompe con Trump was sort of the message. And so we've really, I think, done some creative, innovative stuff. We also partnered with Me Too, which is an online platform that really targets and engages, millions of Latinos between the ages of like 18 to, I think their target demographic is like 39. So we just, really kind of pulled out all the stops. And then going into Get Out the Vote weekend, we're going to have live radio remotes, near voting locations, and continue to just really create the kind of energy that we know is important for our community, to be able to just turn out in the ways that we want to see them. And, we've already had historic early vote turnouts, and we know that on election day, we're going to have a historic Latino voter turnout too. And we know that our community, really wants to participate. They want to be engaged and they want to be a part of this.
You just mentioned something, we're doing a lot of organizing through social media, and there is a lot of misinformation that you face day in and day out through social media. What are we doing to counter that?
Yeah, there's so much misinformation, and it's really scary. So one, the best defense is for folks, tuning in, make sure you know the source for the information that you're reading, that you're sharing, that you're, using. Misinformation is coming from all sides. It's not just, coming from the Trump administration and crazy right-wingers. Misinformation is coming from everywhere. And so it's really important that we verify, what we're reading online, especially if we want to choose to weigh in or to share it. But as a campaign, we have a robust effort. So we have ongoing monitoring of all the misinformation and disinformation out there, so that we can figure out how to, address it directly and head on, through our outreach efforts, through, even down to, what sort of scripts we're using when we're phone banking and talking to voters to make sure that we're getting accurate information and factual information out there. But then we're also, making sure that we're deploying other, kind of surrogates, other people that we know are important messengers and can, be our trusted messengers within their communities. And better than anyone, the United Farm Workers is an important kind of part of that. You all are a trusted brand. When people see the UFW Eagle, it means something. And so it's partnering with, organizations like you all to make sure that when we're talking to our community, they know that it's a trusted resource, someone that they believe, can believe and know is going to be, coming to them with integrity and with a sense of real truth and facts, which is so important in this time of misinformation. And then we have, a whole digital campaign that's continuing to address it, and head on again, and especially in Florida and Arizona, where we've seen it targeted most. And it's also, it is on the part of foreign actors, and we've already seen engagement in this election, and so we see new forms of voter suppression every cycle. And people keep saying, and so I'll mention this one last thing before we go on, is that if our vote didn't matter, then why are people trying so hard to take it away or to get us to not vote? So just remember that when you're questioning whether or not your vote matters, if it didn't matter, people would not try so hard and spend so much money to try to take it away.
That is so true. That is a very good point, Julie. Thank you very much. One last question. Tell us, why are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris better for our country?
Well, I think there's just such a stark contrast between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and this current administration. One, Joe Biden and Kamala have a plan to be able to address COVID, to be able to reopen our economy safely and get us back on track, to make sure that we're, building back in a way that's really investing in workers and investing also in unionized workers. And finally, they'll be able to unite our country and be able to address and start to heal from these deep racial divisions that this president has only thrown, gasoline on. What we've seen from the Trump administration, again, over the last several years is just, it's been a real disgrace. He is not fit to hold the office of president. And the, kind of actions that we've seen from him are the most unpresidential, whether it's, sort of policy by tweet or defaming women or defaming, calling Mexicans criminals and rapists. That's how he launched his campaign, and it's who he's been this entire time. And so there could not be a starker difference between the kind of character, temperament, steady leadership that you would get from a Biden-Harris administration and the ongoing just chaos and division that you see from Trump and his cronies.
Very well said, Julie. We definitely need a change, and we're working very hard to get there. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Well, if anybody knows organizing, it's the UFW, and I'll just leave with one of my favorite quotes from my grandfather, where he said, "We don't need perfect political systems, we need perfect participation." And you all are helping realize that in so many places. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. Thank you for all your work. Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.